Facebook. Hey, owners of cleaning companies, Cleaning Nation. Mike Campion here with Lindsay. This is our weekly Facebook Live. If you've got a question you want answered, join our Facebook Live group, Grow My Cleaning Company. Email Lindsay at Grow My Cleaning Company. Let us know what you need and we will address it. That said, Lindsay, what are we up to today, young lady?
Yeah, so for this week, I've noticed, and some of our outreach coaches too have noticed a theme with cleaning company owners out there having difficulty with predicting their profits month to month. It's inconsistent. They're not sure what to do about it. Also, we're noticing there's a lot of short-term rental, summer vacation rentals where people are doing one-time cleanings. And before we know it, the season's going to be up. So there's definitely going to be a change in profits there too. So I thought we'd just dive in and kind of like keep that theme in mind. And I'll take it to, go ahead.
Before we hit a question, I do want to encourage people. The type of customers that you choose is the foundation for your business, right? So I can't really coach you on if, like, we coach, residential, commercial, a lot of residential think commercial is better. I promise if commercial was where the money was, we would only coach commercial. We wouldn't coach to do residential. But that's just not the case. You can make plenty of money and they're both great opportunities. Even short-term rentals, they've got a little more complexity and sometimes more headache and some seasonality, but you can still do fine with them. But if you're doing like move in, move out or post-construction cleanups, it's really, really hard to, having coached thousands of owners over a decade, they're all little, right? There's no $1 million, multi-million dollar. I shouldn't say no. I'm sure there's someone out there who's going to email and prove me wrong, but less than 1% of cleaning companies that are over $1 million are doing any post-construction or move in, move out stuff. So I just want to encourage you and the reason is just lifetime value, right? Like the cost to acquire and set up and onboard and bill and administrate a customer is not zero, right? When you're just starting and doing everything yourself, you can kind of just internalize all the headache and just figure it out. But when you start building a real company that's to scale, it's hard to build a team that's like, I don't need you today and I need you for 1 hour tomorrow. And the next day I need you for 39 hours and then nothing for 3 days and then another 26 hours. Like there's just a lot of stuff. So when it comes to cash flow and seasonality and trying to build a scalable business, the base layer is your client. So if you're choosing to do a lot of one-time stuff, same reason we will coach, but don't do a ton of pressure washing or carpet cleaning. Those are great add-on services, but it's really tough to build a business with that because at the beginning of the month, you start from zero. It's just a really tough place if you've got 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month of overhead and you're starting with no sales. It's just real risky. So I just want to encourage you, we'll answer questions, do everything we can. But if we don't get to pick the types of clients that you take, we only have a limited amount of levers to pull. And the big lever is the type of customer you choose to take. So just want that to be the foundation before we get into specific questions.
I'm so glad you laid that foundation actually, because Latoya in the Facebook group, she recognized that issue of she's currently doing move in, move outs and deep cleans, but she wants to pivot and do more recurring cleans. So Mike, what is your advice for someone in that position where they're used to doing one-time cleans and they want to pivot and get recurring clients?
That's a great question. And let me just, rarely does math work over a podcast, but let's give it a spin. Let me just do a little math so you can get the gist of it. For a move in, move out clean, it might be anywhere from $300 to $1,500, right? Let's call it $800. I'm sure some are more and some are less. I'm just trying to get an average. And the likelihood that they're going to need another clean is zero, right? So, and I know I'm going to get to you. There's like, no, I've got realtors that bring me 20 of them. I got it. Fine. But for that one particular customer, because a realtor doesn't pay, you got to bill the guy who you've done or the gal or the family you've done the move in, move out for. If you just sell one client a $400 a month, every other week service, and they stay 2 years, that's 10 grand. It's 10 times the value. So it's not like it's a little better. The lifetime value goes way up. And for those and then also just silly things like, again, I got 20 move outs this month and then 6 the next month and then 13 and then none. Like it's a really tough way to go. It's hard to get paid in advance. There's different people. Lots of people complain about move outs. Things go wrong. But if I'm cleaning the same house every other week, I know what I'm going to expect. I know who the client is. I know they're not crazy. So just when you're like, how big is the difference? Well, look at lifetime value. So if you've got move in, move outs or post-construction, and again, for post-construction cleanups, you go like, this guy's worth $30,000 or whatever, it's a big contract, but fine. You you don't know what you're getting into, right? So when I'm cleaning commercially or residentially the same building over and over again, I know how long it's going to take. I know what to expect. When you take a post-construction job or move in, move out, you don't know what you're getting. So there's just a tremendous amount of risk. And even then, you do the job. It's a big thing. You get your 10 grand, and you can't charge in advance. So you bill, and then hopefully you get paid later after you've loaned them a bunch. It's just a lot of complexity. And then you're done. You got to start all over again, right? But if you've got 50 grand a month coming in recurring services, maybe you lose a couple this month, maybe you gain a couple, but the likelihood of you to go from 50 to 100 or 50 to 20 is very, very low. Like everything happens a lot quicker, so much stability. Okay. So just wanted to put some math behind the concept. Now for LaToya, the cool thing is it's really not that much harder to get a recurring client than it is a one-time client. So I get it if it's like, well, the recurring clients are worth 10 times more than the one-time clients, but they're 10 times harder to get. It's like, okay, well then now we've got a conversation. They're not. They're 120%, or 20% harder, right? It's not that much more. And the only reason the other ones are easy to get is because nobody wants to, there's only the two people that do them, or the new people that don't know any better. And people aren't just desperate or not making any money. So there's a lot of churn. People don't stay in that. They're going to go out of business because they can't make any money, or they figure out they can't make any money and stop taking those clients. So they're constantly churning cleaners. So again, I use the dating or marriage. Like if I was like, why'd you marry your wife? Because she said yes on the first date with no questions. Like, is that really the standard we want to use for who? So obviously a marriage commitment is a little more than a commitment to a client. But if you're going to have your business for 5, 10, 20 years, it's a big commitment. So LaToya, the good news is it's not a lot harder to get recurring clients than it is to get one-time clients. You just have to be particular. So most of what we do is repeat and referrals, or I shouldn't say what we do, certainly not what we coach, but a lot of what you guys do is repeat and referrals, right? And if you're doing a bunch of one-time move in, move out, guess who they're going to refer you? A bunch of one-time move in, move out. So you kind of build that energy. So if you start doing intentional marketing and your messaging is on the commercial side, it might be, hey, property managers, we're going to make you look good in front of your owners. We're going to save you time. We're going to make happy clients. We're going to make your job easy. That's messaging that can work. If you're not going to probably get a lot of one-time cleans if that's your messaging, right? If your messaging is we're going to make you look good in front of your long-term tenants, they're probably not going to call you for move out clean, right? For residential, if you're like, moms, we're going to get you time with your kids. You're not going to come home from work so you can go back to work with more work. You're going to be able to live your life, be with your family. That's probably not going to attract one-time move in, move out cleans. So the big two things that we're getting the wrong clients is we're just doing repeat and referral, right? So we're getting more of what we've been getting, which you keep doing what you've been doing, you keep getting what you've been getting. And B, we're not doing marketing, or if we are doing marketing, it's just very generic marketing, right? If you do specific marketing with a specific message to a specific person, you're going to attract that person, right? If I put $100 bill at the end of my fishing line and throw it in the lake, I'm still more likely to get a human on the end of even if it's a fish in a lake in the right place. Fish ain't interested in a $100 bill. So with your marketing, you got to use bait that is attractive to who you want. So typically if you're attracting one-time cleans, is because the bait you're doing is attractive to one-time clean, the messaging and the marketing. So just change the bait, use messaging and marketing that's going to attract recurring people. So it really isn't much harder, just takes a little more thought. And it's not, aside from the money and the growth and all the business part of it, it's just so much more fun to work with the same people over and over and really change lives as opposed to a transaction relationship. Did I answer, Lindsay, or did I just talk in circles?
No, I think you answered it. And just to clarify, if I was LaToya, I would want to solidify what the next step would be. So to me, what I got out of that answer, Mike, is she should really think about what she wants to niche down on, like what type of recurring. Okay, got it.
Yes. And for all of you wanting to make that transition, if you're good at marketing, just stop taking these, start taking, and obviously keep your word. If you've committed to do a move in, move out, or, whatever you have on your calendar that you've committed to, obviously keep your word. The way I would do it is just, I don't take those. I only take these, and that's that. For those of you that are a little less confident in your ability to market, at the very minimum, just start raising your prices extraordinarily on the one time. So it's not going to build your business, but at least you'll get fewer jobs for more money, less risk. That's one way to make the transition a little smoother, is start marketing to the right customers. And as you're transitioning out of the wrong, you can just start saying no immediately, or you can just start pricing them a little better. So if you don't get it, you're like, it's fine. I'm trying to transition out of this anyway. And if you do get it, you're like, well, that price, that takes a lot of the sting off of the wrong customer. So not a good long-term plan. Long-term, stop doing it for any price. But short-term, that can be a way to make grease the wheels a little bit to make that transition. Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge. And we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
Yeah, and Latoya actually added, since you talked about referrals being not the most reliable source, she did say that what if one of her cleaners were to find a recurring client? Would you suggest that and giving them like a percentage if they like her team can help her find the recurring clients?
Honestly, it's fine if you want to do that, but most of the time when people do that, it's just fear. They don't know how to market. So they try and get their cleaners to be marketed. And we get that a lot. Oh, I've got a cleaner who says they're good at social media, or they're going to go do this, or they're going to do that. No offense, because cleaners are great and it's honest work and there's nothing wrong with it. But if they marketing, client attraction and getting customers is much better paid. And if they really knew how to do that, so they'll do stuff like, I'll post something on Instagram, like great, but how is that going to get clients? And they're not going to know. So yeah, I mean, if someone gets a good client and you sign them up and you want to give them a little spiff or something, nothing wrong with that. The problem comes in when you think that's your strategy. Like my cleaners are going to bring me this wall of customers. It's like, well, they're really not.
Got it. All right, Mike. I'm going to pivot to a question that came in from James over email. And he's definitely struggling with unpredictable profits month to month. His big problem sounds like cancellations. He says, what are some ways to help restrict customers from canceling services for typical reasons, such as being out of town, vacation, it's the summer, people are canceling on them, or doing remodeling, stuff like that?
So one of the words that I heard you, I believe, quote from James is, how do I restrict my clients?
Yes.
I'm probably not really looking to do that. Like, I don't want to get into an arm wrestling situation with my clients where they want one thing and I want another. I want to kind of like align with my clients' goals. Like we're all swimming the same direction. So mechanically or logistically, we coach, especially on 100% on residential, to get paid in advance, right? Just like the gym, just like Netflix. You don't watch a couple movies and if you like them or not, you pay the $12 or $20. You pay the $20 at the beginning of the month. And then for that month, you can watch all the movies that you want. And if you don't watch any movies, Netflix does not, or the gym, if you don't lift any weights, doesn't give you any of your money back. You paid for access to this service. And if you don't use the service, that's on you. So getting paid in advance is going to really decrease your cancellation rate because you've already paid. People value what they pay for, right? There, you put your heart, your treasure where your heart is. So once they've given you the money, they value it higher. They're much more likely not to cancel, especially for stupid reasons. Now, there's reasonable reasons, kind of a weird thing to say, reasonable reasons for people to cancel that I'm not going to fight them on. Like people do go on vacation. If they're gone for 2 or 3 weeks, and like, I want to skip a cleaning. If I've already prepaid, I'm like, no worries. I'll just give you a credit. Right? I'm not going to give them the thing back and do a bunch of jacking around. Or if they're like, you know, I lived in Phoenix for a long time. People would leave for the summer for 3 months. I'm not going to try like, how do I restrict them from like, I'm not gonna, it's a reasonable thing, right? I am going to maybe try and switch their service. So it's like, oh, well, you're gone. We go by once a week just to make sure there's no leaks. We send pictures, you know, we take pictures of the house and send it to you. You know, maybe we can winterize or unwinterize. Like we can just make sure everything's cool. Like I'm still going to try and provide a service while they're gone and charge for that service. But if they're doing something reasonable, like we have two homes and we're snowbirds and we go here when we're where the weather's nice. So like, oh, okay, I'm just going to accommodate that because that's a reasonable request. What I'm not super interested in is if they're I've got someone in town, I'm doing this and like, it's just a constant thing. I'm just going to have a conversation with, listen, if you want recurring services, let us give you recurring services. If you just want to call a new cleaner every time and just ad hoc and kind of have it on demand, that's okay. We're just not a good fit for you. So I'm still not going to try and restrict them. Like what they need, I want them to have what they want. And if I'm a good fit for it, we'll take care of it. And if it's a reasonable, like if they're constantly canceling, rescheduling, I don't want it, and they're trying to chintz everything. Well, don't come here, and they're trying to save a nickel. I'm just like, hey, if you can't afford this, or if you don't want the premium service, if you go into the Nordstrom, you're like, wow, this is a little expensive, and maybe if the piano player's not here, could I get a discount? Or like, then maybe go to the Walmart, right? Like it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So kind of the big three would be: one, charge in advance; two, if the client's doing something that's reasonable, I have two homes. I don't want to be here 3 months because it's hot or cold or whatever the case is. And we don't want to pay to have the house clean when nobody's there. They're not being cheap or chintzy or being bad. They're just regular human beings. Still try and provide some service and find a way to give some value. And maybe instead of $400 a month, it's 150 or 200 or whatever. So be it. And then three, if even though you're charging in advance, they're doing unreasonable stuff, constant changing and whatever, that I'm not going to try and restrict them. Like, you stop changing, or I'll do a late fee, or I'm going to try and like wrangle you into cutting it out. They have the life that they want. Like, I don't expect them to change their life for me as a cleaner. I just might opt out of them as a client and be like, hey, you need someone that's just what you're buying, I'm not selling, or what I'm selling, you ain't buying. Let's just free me up to go find a customer that wants what we got, and you go find a cleaner that wants what you got. Like, no big deal.
Wow. I almost didn't have anything. You almost left me speechless, but I have some notes, some mental notes here, because you picked it out right away. Restrict. He used the word restrict, and that is such a strong word. And then immediately you said align, and it just feels so much better. So I would think as a business owner, it's like, do I want to restrict or align? So just wanted to note that. I think that was a really good little mind frame switch you did there, Mike, of
based on that, let me give a quick bonus that's very related to what you said, but not related to anything else on the title or on what we're talking about today. So that restrict versus align, a lot of clients are really uptight about contracts. I got to get my people on the contracts, more so on the commercial than the residential. My deal, and I love recurring revenue, right? But there's got to be some accountability. If I get a contract with someone, it's like, why? And as a buyer, I'm the same way. If someone is providing a service, like, you got to commit to 12 months. I'm like, well, are you bad at your job? Like, what is going to happen in 2 months that I'm not going to want to be with you anymore? And why are you trying to get me to contract? Like, why don't you just do a really good job? I use Netflix, which, neither here nor there, but we got 72 different subscriptions, like with Peacock and Paramount and Hulu. We got them all, whatever they are, we got them. And we just never leave because it's like we use them. So as opposed to them locking us down with a 20-year contract or something, why not just do a good job? So when it comes to cleaning, you can get them to sign a contract. The reality is, if they don't want you in your home or their business, you ain't going to you're going to kick down the door and be like, I'm here to clean, damn it. Like, I don't get what are you going to fight it? Like, I don't understand how this is going to work. So you can have all the contracts you want, but again, that's trying to restrict. You can't leave. You got to be with me. You got to do this thing. Right. As opposed to, I'm just going to do such a great job, you don't want to leave. Right. So just keep that in mind. You can have contracts, but I think happy customers are so much more valuable than contracts.
Mike, you actually just nailed, we had a bunch of really similar questions, and you just nailed like all of them in one. So,
just so you know, that's Lindsay's translation of, I'm kind of getting bored with this. I don't want to broadcast no more. So yeah, you got them all.
Well, I did want to note something that I find myself telling our clients this a lot when they get kind of nervous about charging clients ahead for the month. From a consumer point of view, I always tell them you might be surprised at how many of your clients actually like that, and you just don't know it yet. So for example, I had a landscaper that I would literally pay him by check every week, and it was inconsistent. And it stressed me out. And so many times I wanted to say, hey man, can I just like pay you to come like X amount of times a month and just play with that flat fee, so I don't even have to think about it or worry about leaving you a check at the door. I swear, I was like, oh, I just want to help this guy, but it wasn't really appropriate, let's say. But anyhow,
welcome to my world as a coach with vendors and like you're doing all wrong. So I just want to tag on. It's not as much the paying in advance. I don't think customers feel it. If you want to prepay for a long time, they might have a problem. But paying at the first of the month for that month's services, that's very common for car notes, mortgages, rent, Netflix, gyms. Just pull out your bank statement. Generally, you pay first, and then they give you the service. So I don't know that customers like that better, don't like it better, but what you said is absolutely true. Certainty and simplicity, they're very into. So I don't want to write a goddamn check and this month has 5 Fridays in it, and I'm just not interested in any of that. Like, can I just give you my goddamn credit card and you just magically take the money, and when I tell you to cut it out, you'll cut it out, right? Like, that's it. So I do think we get up in our heads about they're going to be pissed. I'm like, why? You think they want to write a check and have a bunch of different charges and it's different this month and that month? They just want to know, we, again, $400, great, take it first, good. Why are you bothering with this? Like, the whole point we're doing is to save them time and headache. And even on commercial, by the way, guys, I mean, it's so funny because a lot of things that are obvious in commercial, like pay, like having a monthly, but could you imagine a commercial being like, I'm going to charge you every cleaning? They'd be like, what are you talking about? You're a vendor, just pay me. And guess who runs commercial businesses? Humans. Guess who owns residential homes? Humans. Everybody just wants simplicity and certainty and like, just god dang handle it and leave me alone.
Yeah.
The right clients. The bad clients are like, I don't really have that money. Let me pay it right in. And I'm a little short this week. And does it have to be? And can I save a cleaning? And maybe you don't come. Like, the right clients are, just charge it to my card and leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you just nailed it, Mike. That's exactly it. That's it for this week, Mike. You just blew it out of the water there. I love it.
Giddy up. All right, Cleaning Nation, if this has been helpful, and just so you guys know that, like, if you're like, if you're new to the podcast, we have a format. We do 3 a week. One is typically me sharing a story with one of our amazing people, one of our clients, just because I want you guys to know we can talk about what it should look like and could look like. We like you meeting our clients. So you can be like, oh, this is what it does look like and feel like to have a successful business. 2, we do this where it's just open question. If you want to submit a question, support at growmycleaningcompany.com, join our Facebook group for free, Grow My Cleaning Company Facebook group. And then the third is just usually me with one of the experts on our team, whether it's beliefs or mindset or marketing or whomever. So you can kind of see those flow going. That said, if you need more help than just a little 20, and it's so funny. Here, I'm just going to speak to you out there and pointing at you because I know you're going to call me. I've been listening to the podcast for years or months. I'm like, what made you call today? For the guys and gals I get to talk to, like, well, and then they talk about how everything's a complete mess and how they waited till it was just the worst. And I'm always like, and they're like, I wish I should have called 6 months ago. I wish I would, like prior to now, things would have been better. So you can wait until, and again, you can call us, whoever, just get some help. You can't wait till things are just in the dumpster, or we can have a little preventive maintenance. We can say, hey, I want to get there further, faster. So if that's you, don't wait till everything's an absolute mess. Reach out and get some help. I will encourage you. We've done thousands of calls with clients. We've had no fatalities. Actually, most people do pretty well and get a lot of value. So if you need some help, reach out, get the help you need, whether it's to us or somebody else. Don't keep doing the same thing you've been doing. Hope for a different result. We'll see you next week. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.